Live from the local station, News4Jax starts now.
Only on News4Jax, Corrine Brown in an exclusive interview with me expressing doubt she got a fair trial based on what one of the jurors has just told the I-Team about the deliberations. Corrine Brown's lawyer will now try to find out if he can question the woman who we are identifying only as juror number 3, as he seeks to overturn Brown's conviction and win for her a new trial.
That juror is asking that we conceal her identity because this very high-profile trial is still very contentious. She also says she thought Brown was not guilty and came forward because she says Brown did not get a fair trial because of juror drama in the deliberation room. She spoke exclusively to I-Team investigator Lindsey Gardner about juror number 8 getting juror 13 kicked out of the trial.
So that's kind of what you want the public to know now.
I want them to know that it wasn't only juror 13 who had reasonable doubts, and that he was not kicked out because of some radical religious views. He was not forcing anything on anybody. His opinion and what he came to be his verdict was because he believed she was innocent.
Do you feel like Corrine Brown got a fair jury and a fair deliberation process?
One juror picked the jury. She chose the jury that she wanted, and she went above and beyond to make sure that happened. And no, I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's fair that at one point Corrine was going to walk, and at the other point, now she's convicted of 18 counts.
Ahead at 6 o'clock, Lindsey will have more on why this woman says she feels she was unfairly manipulated into voting guilty. In a few minutes, Jim Piggott will examine the process should Brown's attorney proceed with his intention of asking the judge for a new trial. First, we reached out this afternoon to Brown and her attorney, James Smith, for what their reaction would be to what the juror told Lindsey. I sat down with them both here at Channel 4. What's your reaction to what this juror has told Lindsey Gardner?
I am very upset. And I really think that if the judge had heard this information during the trial, he would have brought the jury in and would have changed maybe some of the dynamics. It is very concerning me that they would lead the other jurors to think that that person, jury number 13, was being sent to jail, and that it could happen to you if you don't vote right.
What can you do now with this information that this juror has given to Lindsey Gardner that's going to be on the news?
Well, hopefully I can use this as the first step to be able to get permission to do a juror interview. And based upon that interview, I want to see if perhaps I can get firsthand verification of what she told the reporter. You know, at a minimum, what we've heard about in this interview is quite disturbing. I think most people would be surprised to think that these types of things take place in juries, particularly when you're talking about a jury in a criminal trial. The sad and depressing thing, however, is that the law is very, very tough with regard to being able to open up what actually happened in jury deliberations. Ironically, a juror can talk to a reporter and give this information I think that everyone would find disturbing.
Brown insisted she's doing fine and still has full confidence in her defense team, continues to maintain she is innocent of any federal crime. Besides the claims from juror number 3 that we heard in Lindsey's story, or we will hear in Lindsey's story at 6 o'clock, Brown is also concerned that juror 13 was dismissed over comments he made about the Holy Spirit and Brown's innocent. She told me it's regrettable that that man, a military veteran, did not get to see the process all the way through to the end.
Tom, yesterday in court, the judge told Brown to be careful about any comments that she said to any reporters. In fact, that her remarks could ultimately be used against her in sentencing or in possible appeals. What did she have to tell you about that today?
Well, I asked her that specific question, and I'm quoting her, she said, "I've been talking all of my life." And she added that the judge comes from the judiciary branch and she comes from the legislative branch, even though she's formally from the legislative branch, and that she's always talked to the media. She said she's not concerned her comments will be used against her because she said the judge is very fair. I will have more of my interview at 6 o'clock, including what Brown says about what she has learned about the criminal justice system.
It's all very fascinating. It's just every day.
Bombshell claims from this juror, and now giving Brown hope that she will actually be able to get a new trial.
After Corrine Brown's guilty verdict, her attorney says he's going to ask for a new trial. Today, Channel 4's Jim Piggott talked to our legal experts about what would be involved with that. He's joining us live downtown. Jim.
Well, the first step would have to actually come for that motion being filed. Then it would be up to Judge Corrigan to rule on that motion for a new trial. Corrine Brown's attorney says he will put into motion the process of asking for a new trial. The first thing he'll do is file a motion, a court document stating why. Concerns over the dismissed juror will likely be the main reason. We talked to attorney Gene Nichols about the process involved.
So in essence, a motion for new trial is his opportunity to sort of rehash all of the issues that were brought up in trial where he believes the judge made a mistake.
It's at that point Judge Corrigan would rule on the motion, saying yes or no to the new trial. Nichols says it's very rare that a judge who heard the case would grant a new trial. If Corrigan rules against the motion, a sentencing date will be set, and Brown will learn what punishment she would receive, including possible jail time.
We know there's going to be an appeal if a motion for new trial is not granted. So for that reason, you can expect that Judge Corrigan will have to consider an appellate bond, which he reasonably will consider, to allow her to stay out pending the appeal.
Her attorney would then file an appeal with the U.S. Court of Appeals to take up the case in Atlanta. The judges there would either order a new trial or do nothing at all and let the verdict stand. Nichols doesn't believe that this is a case that would go before the Supreme Court. So here's the thing to watch for now. It's what's going to happen over this, what we're calling jury drama at this point. Now, the judge said in open court yesterday that he believes all of the pressure and everything that happened inside the deliberation room, well, that remains there, and that's usually not a case for a new trial. His concern is any outside influence that came in, and that's where he would be a concern. But this is what we're going to watch to see what happens now, and if Brown's attorney, if he does file that motion, if they will get that trial. We're live from the federal courthouse downtown. Jim Piggott, Channel 4, the local station.
And right now on News4Jax.com, we put up a gallery of photos from the U.S. Attorney's Office showing Brown and Ronnie Simmons withdrawing hundreds of dollars from ATMs in the D.C. area. We'll take a closer look at those photos coming up at 5:30. You can also take a look for yourself by going to News4Jax.com/trial.